Oh, hi everyone. I didn't see you there. Yes, I was working on my time travel suit, and I think I just got the time crystal installed right here, sort of in the back. So that way, there's absolutely no way it can possibly go wrong. Welcome to another episode of Let's Warp Off with Kevin. If you don't like it, well, you can go warp yourself. My name is Kevin, and today we'll be talking about Star Trek Discovery, Season 2, Episode 11, Perpetual Infinity. Time travel shenanigans, evil control AI, data. We need to get the data. Stop the data. I can't get the data. Oh, the machine has this much of the data. So much data talk. Most data, I think, is ever, aside from Data himself. I don't think Data has been uttered more since Next Generation. So again, stick around. All this and more. Stay tuned. So we start off with this episode showing that Michael's really whole family for the first time, which again we really like seeing. We get to see her mom, played by Sonia Son, who played Kima Greggs of The Wire. Don't know if you've ever watched that show, but I loved it. It's one of my favorite shows certainly, especially HBO shows. So it's really cool seeing her and her father as well. And then of course it seems like they are being attacked and found by Klingons, and then she puts a time crystal in and says, oh wait, I have to go back, 1 hour, and maybe we can prevent this. But of course, it doesn't quite go as planned, and instead of going 1 hour, she accidentally goes 950 years instead. Those time crystals, I'm telling you, you can't trust them. I think you're better off with a flux capacitor, honestly. I don't know, time crystals, not very reliable, honestly. So yeah, and then that was a really cool, interesting scene, and we see Michael sort of viewing these logs and kind of going through them, and that's, again, I like that a lot. A lot of scenes with Michael seeing what her mom has been up to and sort of absorbing that and realizing that. And then we see, the scene where Leland is captured, and he's on the structure table, and he's talking to the evil, AI control, and it seems like it infected him with nanoprobes and has pretty much killed him completely and taken over his body. So it seems for now, I think it's safe to say that Leland is dead. It seems like Leland is now officially dead until I'm proven otherwise, but it seems like from now on, it's fake Terminator Leland from here on out. So yeah, and so anyway, then the next sort of scene we get, we see Culber also back as a doctor, which I thought was really interesting. I guess that was from maybe the scene from last week where we see Culber talking with Cornwell, and then I guess they've all decided that he's okay, I guess, and maybe Cornwell gave him a clean bill of mental health, so he's fit for duty, so he's back to being a doctor. So again, that's a nice, cool revelation. And of course, Michael wants to talk to her mom, immediately I want to talk to my mom, and then of course we just want, she just wants to talk to the captain first. And they're sort of very put off by it, but they're kind of okay, fine, sure. And basically, they're kind of talking, and they're like, okay, we need to delete, the archive. The archive needs to be deleted, and that becomes the crux of really this whole episode. And they argue a little bit back and forth. Again, the archive data from the Sphere from earlier in the season, and Saru at first sort of wants to keep it, but then Pike and the rest of them are kind of like, no, we need to delete this, and okay. So they decide to delete it, but of course, they can't delete the data, so now they're sort of, okay, now we gotta sort of figure out something else, what's our next step? And then there's another great scene, where again, Michael talks to Spock, and they kind of go over the log, and in that log, Michael's mom sort of explains that she chose Spock and reached out to him, because Spock before was questioning. He was always like, why did the angel, choose me? And, why did it choose me and all this stuff? And then we see that, she chose Spock because, again, for his logic and the fact that with his dyslexia, this sort of made him sort of an ideal sort of maybe combination to sort of maybe potentially figure out the time sort of strings to help Michael along the way. So that was really, again, a good scene, I think, between both of them as well. So again, we finally then get to see Michael really confront her mom kind of face to face, in person. She's been constantly wondering where she is. She's watching kind of her on these logs and watching the crew interact with them, the security feed, and then she finally interacts with her mom in person. And her mom seems to be sort of come across as a very sort of cynical attitude about the whole thing. And Michael is sort of trying to bring her back sort of to hope and figure this out, but she's very, hardened, very, can't quite, get through. It seems like it's very distant from Michael a little bit, and it's just like, oh, poor Michael, you really want sort of the best for her. So that was a really kind of tense scene, I think, between the two of them at first, but that will again also. So now they're sort of trying to again figure out what are we supposed to do because we cannot destroy the data. What can we do? So they figure out, they're like, okay, so maybe we can transfer the data over to somewhere else. Let's port it somewhere to a cloud perhaps, but instead, no, they port it over to the time travel suit and says, one man's person's clouds and then person's time traveling suit, I guess. I don't know. Oh, data storage. That is such a problem, even in the future. Data storage is still a thing, still a huge problem. And so again, they figure, all right, let's do this. We can figure this out. And then fake Leland control AI is sort of wants to, again, get the data back and is sort of telling this to Joe, but Joe is very suspicious. I think partially because that she realized that this Leland's a lot more competent, and maybe in control. So she's suspicious, and she's like, wait a minute, he hasn't failed at all. Something's very wrong here. Why is he so dominant and competent and aggressive and being a great villain? He's not tripping over anything. Something's very wrong with this picture. I think that's why she suspects that Leland has been controlled and he's not who he says he is. And then we see sort of a scene where Georgiou and her mom kind of interact back and forth. Again, seeing Michael's sort of both mother figures kind of interact was sort of good. And then while this is all happening, of course, she sort of plants the device to start taking the data. And then the feed has sort of been blocked. And then she sort of removes it, takes across, and then the fetus now resolves. They can see everything. And then sort of course, they have another scene. Michael and her mom have another scene this time. And this time it's a little more warm, emotional, heartfelt, kind of saying that, you know what, though, I've actually always been there, through time travel, watching her guardian angel, so to speak, really, with more the angel metaphor and everything. But instead of it's through time travel and ways like that. So that was a nice, very emotional, touching scene between them. They're finally getting along, they're finally interacting, and they really finally connect. But then what happens? All hell goes to loose, and then fake Leland comes in and just starts, really kicking ass. Again, he's just like shooting everything, and Georgiou starts fighting him. And again, Georgiou seems to have we've seen Georgiou kick a lot of ass and everything, but it seems like, fake Leland control she's kind of finally met her match, or finally met someone who's like a really worthy adversary, because like that was a great fight between the two of them. Really liked that a lot. And then of course, Michael has to have a very tearful goodbye to her mother, and they realize they have to get the suit out of there, and her mom as well is going to be lost in time. She may never see her mom again. So it's a very sort of tearful kind of reunion between the two. And so again, it's very sad, touchful, and then it goes zook, right out the little wormhole, the wormhole hole there, and they're sort of gone. And so yeah, it's a very touching moment. But again, great too. A lot of action, a lot of emotion. So again, I really did enjoy that climactic, scene sort of towards the end. And then so at the very end, we find out from Spock talking to Michael that it seems that Control, or has gotten, fake Leland Control, has gotten 54% of the data. So they don't have all of it, but they have majority of most of it. And Michael's very distraught and now sort of beaten by this whole thing. What are we going to do? And Spock is able to really cheer her up. And then we see sort of Spock assembling the chess set. And I thought that was a really great contrast to a couple, 2 episodes ago prior, where Spock just completely, he pushes the chess set out of the way and he breaks it and damages it, falls down. But now this time he's assembling it and building it. And it seems like he's really willing to cooperate and work with Michael. So again, a lot of, great relationship dynamics, healing with Michael and her brother, Spock, and also too with Michael and her mother as well. And it seems also we will probably see her mom again, I would hope, at some point. Maybe not this season, maybe next season, who can say? Maybe we'll see her every so often. I can definitely see that. So yeah, again, we got some really good, great character interactions, and really kind of moving the plot forward as far as the stakes are concerned, because now Control is definitely sort of the big bad, definitely is the big bad for the season. Now that it has all this data, what is it going to do? So again, I like how the stakes have been risen a little bit. Great character interaction, great movement of the plot. And again, I really enjoyed all the dynamics as well with Section 31, again, with Ash Tyler working together with Georgiou, saying, something's not wrong here, like something's going on. And so I like that a lot. And Ash Tyler also seems to be very injured, although again, I don't think he's dead because based on the preview next week that we saw, it seems like he's still alive. So again, I don't think Ash is in any real danger. I think he'll be okay. So again, all right. Well, again, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And what are your thoughts on next week as far as the question of the day is concerned? What do you think Control's next step is going to be? What do you think Control is going to do now that it has all this data? What do you think the first step it's going to do, or it's going to try to do? Is it going to take out a planet? Is it going to do whatever? I'd like to know your thoughts on what you think Control is going to do next. So again, thank you all so much, and I will see you all again next time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.